Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, great. Thank you. Peace be upon you. Thank you so much for coming back again. It's I shouldn't try to do any kind of scheduling when we're doing meditation class. I can't even remember that we've got classes, even though I spent like the few days before getting, thinking about that. It's not the space to do scheduling. Let's start with, we'll do some meditation and take us into some affirmations. So just start by coming into the body. Take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And release. A deep breath. And release. Bring your awareness to the crown of your head. And as you breathe out, relax the top of your head. Move your awareness to the forehead. Feel it soften as you breathe out. Smooth, relaxed. Come to your eyes. Feel them to be like pools of water. Soft. Relax the jaw and any tension in the head. Then bring this awareness down to your shoulders. Feel like there's beams of sunlight touching your shoulders and relaxing them. And you're just going deeper and deeper into relaxation on the waves of the breath. Moving down your arms, softening the muscles to the forearms. And relaxing the hands. Bring your awareness to your chest. Softening, relaxing, down to your abdomen and lower back. Breathing like a sleeping baby, relaxed. Release the tension in your buttocks, the sexual organs. Relax. Down through the thighs. the calves. And the feet. And bringing our awareness to the breath. And continuing the sense of being at ease. We'll relax our internal self. Bring your awareness to the crown chakra. And take a deep breath. And as we breathe out, we recite Breathe in, breathe out. Bring your awareness to your throat chakra. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your awareness to your heart chakra. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your awareness to your solar plexus. And breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your awareness to your lungs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your awareness to your root chakra. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Bring your awareness to your sex organs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come back to a holistic sense of relaxation of your body and internal self. Allowing the breath to be at ease and natural. Bringing this quality of ease, love and naturalness to your heart. You can repeat internally or externally after me. I am a channel for God's creativity, and my work comes to good. My dreams come from God, and God has the power to accomplish them. As I create and listen, I will be led. Creativity is the Creator's will for me. My creativity heals myself and others. I am allowed to nurture my artistic self. Through the use of a few simple tools, my creativity will flourish. Through the use of my creativity, I serve God. My creativity always leads me to truth and love. My creativity leads me to forgiveness and self-forgiveness. There is a divine plan of goodness for me. There is a divine plan of goodness for my work. As I listen to the Creator within, I am led. As I listen to my creativity, I am led to my Creator. I am willing to create. I am willing to learn to let myself create. I am willing to let God create through me. I am willing to be of service through my creativity. I am willing to experience my creative energy. I am willing to use my creative talents. And very gently we open our eyes and come back into the space. So, in this work, this kind of thinking will be used again and again for maybe the rest of your life. You have to remember these ways of thinking, changing the patterns of thinking, It's learning how to protect yourself from other voices, but especially your own inner critic. And that own inner critic, which was developed at a very young age, when we're unable to protect ourselves and we take on, like, life is harsh. People call it trauma, things like that, but it's life. Interestingly, there's a negative diagnosis for every aspect of being human now, right? If you've got a lot of energy, it's ADHD. If you've got this, there's a negative label for everything, which is interesting. This is what Buddha said. Wherever you go, you'll find it's samsara. You won't find in this space, when you're identified with the human body and the human mind, it's not a source of happiness. People have a sense of that there is a space of happiness, and they're trying to perfect it in the wrong place. But that often leads to these diagnoses that everything about us is wrong. I'm sure you could meet some therapist or other, and they'll find that something about everything you do has got a negative label, right? So we need to focus on it's like, I'm a Buddha, that's who I really am. And then these classes, like, I'm a creator. And when we go through this class, it's looking at really soft things that the intellect, we've got like an adult intellect, but we're often very much like an emotional child. And what the emotional child needs looks kind of silly to the adult intellect. A lot of work we do, there's like all different levels operating at the same time. And that's why I can get confusing. So when we're operating on the physical level, that's got all the same kind of laws and rules within itself. On the physical level, we go to the emotional level, it's got the same kind of laws and maps within itself. And whichever area we look in, they'll have the same laws, and like physicality will have its own intelligence, its own kind of fluidity, its own, like the four elements within the physical. If you go into the mental, it will have its own laws of fluidity and like this. So when we're on this holistic journey of life, then and in this class we're essentially honouring the physical, what we call the worldly life, right? It's honouring the what we have to do with this body and how it expresses. It's like it's part of what we're doing. When we're speaking spiritually, we talk about the four jhanas, but we're talking about the yogas, like service, karma yoga, the mind, jhana yoga, the heart bhakti yoga, nice terms and things like that. You can just put it more simply, like the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the consciousness. It's more like someone who works with their hands, someone who works with their mind, someone who works with their heart, their emotions, their heart, and someone who works on the level of consciousness. So you could say it's like a craftsman, the craftsman, the farmer, the potter, or the accountant, the philosopher, the thinker in us, and the poet, the therapist, someone who can empathize, and the mystic. the Sufi with us, and we want to kind of be able to complement all of those aspects of ourselves. You've got to kind of work out, when we're doing these classes, in one sense, you want to work out which career path you want to do. So you might be a really good thinker, but do you want a job with your thinking? That's how you're expressing yourself in this life, is by thinking. Like your job. Or do you want a job where you're using your emotions all the time? You know how to be a therapist, like empathize with people, or like a nurse. A nurse is always in empathy, so they can work forever. That's how they get abused, right? I mean, what we do to nurses is like a crime against humanity. We just flog someone to death because we know that if they know that there's someone who needs our help, they'll still help them. Even though they've been working for 100 hours during the week, they will still help them. And then people just go, yeah, we can keep pushing them. But that's when you know you're a nurse, right? If you're like, nah, I'm taking a day off. I mean, you might be a good nurse, but you're not working from the emotional self, right? But if you enjoy the emotional self, that's where you really want to work. You can do it. You can do 100 hours, right? I mean, it's hard. Are you with me? Or you might against all, even though you're a great thinker, like let's say you've got these tools and it's got, right, I'm really good at thinking, but I just want to be a gardener. That's where I get my joy, is working with my hands. Or you can try and be a mystic. And that's like, you don't know what's going to happen really at any point or any time, and you just kind of see what happens. You just go for it. You live out in the streets. Right? So you might be brilliant with your hands. You might be a brilliant thinker. Yeah, and you might really know how to emote with people. None of it does it for you. You just want to walk out the door and see where the wind takes you for the next, say, 3 years. Wherever I land, that's where I land. You may not, all those elements we want to have, right? Like all the time. And you bring those elements into each other element. And we've got all 4 of those things within us. You just got to work it if you'd feel comfortable being a mystic as a career. You don't have to, the point is you don't have to do it, right? But you may want to, like when I'm saying, you go, that's what I want to do. I just want to wander the earth. Like Caine in Kung Fu having adventures. The quote Pulp Fiction. Isn't it Samuel L. Jackson? I just want to wander the earth like Caine, and that's... Do you know what I mean? And so it's like finding out, again, or we can say, when we had a desire to do something and it got prevented by our parents, it stays. So we have to also distinguish between what is actually what our soul's journey is, we can say. Our soul's nourishment, and manifesting unfulfilled desires. That sometimes they might just last, you just need to do them once, and it's kind of out of the system. It might be, for me personally, hearing a song that's coming on that's like amazing, opening up, and your dad turns the TV over. And it's like, I really want to listen to that. And it's like, well, you're not getting to. And I still can remember, it's like there was a song Catch by The Cure. It's like one of my favourite bands at the time. It's like, you had no opportunity to hear it. It's not like today. And just, nope, that's gone off. And really wanted a Spider-Man model. Couldn't afford it ever. So then I just got one as an adult. It was great. Yeah, things like that. So, I mean, most of the people here, you're following the other courses. I mean, maybe some people listen later on. I know some other people listen who aren't necessarily on the working with all the 4 elements of their spiritual journey. Is you honor the physical life. So part of your awakening is just having a normal job, family, and all the rest of it. And that's not lower. It's only lower when it's the be-all and end-all. When it's the be-all and end-all, as it is for a lot of people, it's called the world life, and that is samsara. That is suffering. And in a similar way, really in a similar way, if you just live in your mind and thinking, it's generally just going to be suffering. And if you're just a mystic, it's probably just going to be suffering. If you're not incorporating the other elements, at some stage there'll be like a lot of difficulties. Because we are a complete whole, right? The base is the physical expression. And we don't want to hold on to it, just 'cause it's temporary. That's all. And if you think being spiritual is denying the physical, there'll be conflict, right? I think everyone here will experience to some level, some internal conflict of spiritual ideas and pushing the physical way, so you need to understand that element on its own and understand that is not contradictory to what I said right at the start. You may wish to be a mystic, like a monk. Like, it might not interest you to do like work in a factory, work in farming. It might just interest you just to meditate. But you still have to but if you're against the body, you'll have trouble doing that. Even if you're in a monastery, you'll have trouble. You'll still have physical needs, and you understand that there's nothing wrong with the physical body, but what is going to sustain your joy throughout your life is to live in a monastery. Right? In the same way, you might be really into the physical body and you want to have a family and a householder, and that will sustain you in your life for your spiritual journey. Or you may be a philosopher, or say you may be like a healer, an emotional being, a poet, a painter, someone likes to emote, a musician. They're not going to have a satisfied spiritual life unless the main thing they're working on is emotional expression. I hope this is kind of making sense to everyone, and it's might take some thinking, but it's not contradictory. There's like these just different elements. You understand that they're all needed, but you have to find your place in amongst them for a satisfying life. We may be, you may be stuck working in a factory, right? You may be stuck working in a factory. You might be a poet and you're working in a factory. And hopefully with the teachings you can turn that around and you can bring poetry to it and stuff like that. It just won't give you the same level of satisfaction as if you're a poet and you're writing poetry and you're making money from writing poetry and you can live as a poet. It's very important. So from one point of view, you may be a really like a spiritual being, but physically you're just pretty much like most other people. You just go out, you have a job, you do the things, and these are necessary things for our spiritual growth. Yeah. Maybe we've inherited some ideas from some hippies in the 60s about, or the Beat Generation, what it means to be spiritual, like against your community. So this is like a prelude to this sense of like really going in and really feeling what we want to do. Because we may have been given lots of signs to do the thing we want to do, and we may have said no to it. And then we do it again. We take on Rumi's thing, like, doesn't matter if you've sinned, come back again. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, to try again. You went, fear got me. Fear gets everyone. Don't let the shame of fear stop you from trying again. There's a new fear about the fear you had, and the shame about the fear, and I shouldn't have done that. And it's like, we all do it. Everybody, every human being. And all the people that have really succeeded, most of them have gone through intense failure and intense turning the back until they kind of really committed. That's the intro. Does anybody have anything they want to share from, still doing the writing, the pages, or taking yourself out on dates, or if it's kind of dwindled away, and if so, why? Has anyone find that the commitment to their self and their awakening kind of slowly gets taken over by the things that you should be doing? Anybody got anything to share on that? Okay.
I've noticed that my Enneagram tendencies, I've noticed that being one of the biggest blocks to me, just living my life creatively and following joy. Little things like planning to go a walk an hour away and then the mind coming up with excuses, it's too much money for petrol and things like that, and just security matters, and that just stifles things. But I've been pretty good at going against it and getting a bit more, loose. But also I want to say with the writing thing's been really interesting. I've managed to keep that up. And I had a really clear lesson the other day. Normally I just do it straight away, or if I'm working, I've got a bad habit of picking up my phone to like just get myself woken up a bit more, and then I'll do the writing. But then for some reason one morning I had a bit more time, and for whatever reason, I read the Gospel of Judas. And then what I was writing was just sounded really biblical and really beautiful, and it's just so clear what you put into your mind is what goes in, and that's what fills you up. Um, so yeah, it's just like a radio frequency of things I've picked up in the day, and then it's just there floating around. That's been a really big lesson from that so far. Yeah.
Beautiful. I just want to say a quick quick adage for it's like if you can organize your chaos, if you've got that type of mind. So it's set aside a certain amount of money. You go, this money is designated for gambling, for throwing away, for flourishes on my life, and then you don't have to worry about it. You just set it aside. Yeah? You've already calculated. I've got enough money, and then I'm going to use this money for whatever. Yeah. Anyone else? Smile.
I've had a really interesting time with my art workshops, which was really anxious about nobody coming, and I kept getting the voice to trust, and when I trusted, it was better. And then it's been quite sort of, the experience has been like quite miraculous of people coming and having a really good time and paying me money. So I feel like in the commitment to my material, embodied self through trust, I'm breaking through some really fearful and secretive egoic patterns. So I've still got a little feel, oh, maybe next week no one will come, but I've had 2 weeks of really 7 people, then 8 people, and so much good feedback. And money, which is just like incredible sensation of doing something I love and being paid for it. It's extraordinary. So yeah, just sort of in a sort of wow gratitude experience. Yeah.
Wow, brilliant.
Lovely. And it feels like it's got more and more and more to go. Like this is a path just rising up for me. Beautiful. Thank you.
Joyful satisfaction. Nothing like it. Anyone else? Thank you. Okay.
I've been really enjoying the morning pages. Still similar to what Hakeem was saying. I feel the difference on the days of what I'm putting into my mind and what's coming out. And that sense of poetry and expressing the emotions and what's coming out, I feel it's really, really helpful. One of the things you were saying earlier, I feel, yeah, hit on a point for me because it's something to do with the sense of adventure. And when we're doing the mandala and what's missing, I feel like often what we're doing in class and things, it's like it's a lot of adventure in a sense, but I feel maybe I'm not honoring that in the physical in a way, and still believing a lot of the patterns that, or the impositions in a way that I've been brought up with. It's like this is how life should be in a society and things, and for example, work and things. And so I feel for all those 4 elements that we're talking about, it's really important to honor them, but I don't feel I'm doing that from the ones that maybe matter the most for me all the time. It's really, it's nice to explore that.
Thank you. Yang Chen, you gonna say something?
Yeah, with the pages in the morning, it's been like an outlet for things that I haven't really allowed my mind to go to. So some of you know that I'm waiting for this court decision, and if it goes well, I've been scared to even consider what I'll do if it goes well, really, because in case it goes wrong. So my mind is always like, don't don't imagine what you might do. So it was really nice just to have a space where nobody else is going to look. It's okay. It's okay to write what you would like, what in the ideal situation, what you would actually do. And so I was able to write a list of just like wonderful notions of how I might help people that I know in my family and how I might support people in their work or that kind of thing, and maybe just create my own environment in a way that would be lovely. And it was really nice to be able to let that out without fear of, well, you're building yourself up to something. Or, so just secretive, but still really helpful for me to express that.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll do, and here's an exercise maybe we'll do this morning. This is like on a similar vein. And we're gonna, we want to get into kind of the childhood and shame. And really going into you really want to treat yourself like a baby when we're done. Like really, like it's like you need to really treat yourself like a real, like you're parenting yourself. And we judge ourselves so harsh in what we think we should do. Does anyone else have anything they want to share before? So like what Namka touched on is like anger, what anger's for. Frustration. What is it? What's it? I say we're nice people, right? Yeah, so we just kind of hold the anger down, stuff it, put it down. Spiritual people don't get angry. You just get blocked, squashed, goes against our idealized self-image of who I should be. Yeah. But anger is actually pointing us in the direction we need to go. Yeah, it's like it's like a loyal friend. It's like it demonstrates where your boundaries are. It's demonstrated where you need to be going, and it can often be like I could make a better film than that. Yeah, there's like I've got some little list of things that I say like, yeah. I can make a better film than that. So this anger says you want to make movies, you need to learn how. I can't believe it. I had this idea for a play 3 years ago, and she's gone and written it. This anger says stop procrastinating. Ideas don't get opening nights. Finished plays do. Start writing. That's my strategy he's using. This is incredible. I've been ripped off. I knew I should have pulled that material together and copyrighted it. This anger says it's time to take your own ideas seriously enough to treat them well. Yeah, so it's not like, "Arr!" It's just like a frustrated, and it's like it's pointing to something every time inside of you. Like it's a guide. If you put that on, it'd be ridiculous to put that on someone else. These kind of thoughts that we have. And it's often like jealousy, right? And if someone's doing what we want to do, and then if we're really afraid of anger, then it really turns into that self-critic. No, a lot of it, that really strong self-critic, which is essentially coming from shame. I should be better than what I am. And then I have this high idea of who I should be, and then I never think it will be as it will be in the work. Then I get angry at myself. Then I think, oh, I'll never be able to do it. Oh, it's too late now. And these are all voices coming from that shame and that perfectionism. And they just to try and block us and stop us expressing ourselves. Like that's in the beginning, when we have any sense of expression, then any criticism or anything just below, it just shuts it down, it reaffirms it. Now I could got some stuff written down which, I'd be good to hear. Yeah, isn't shame. So making a piece of art may feel a lot like telling a family secret. Secret telling by its very nature involves shame and fear. It asks the question, what will they think of me once they know this? This is a frightening question, particularly if we have ever been made to feel ashamed for our curiosities and explorations, social, sexual, spiritual. How dare you? Angry adults often rage at an innocent child who has stumbled onto a family secret. How dare you open your mother's jewelry box? How dare you open your father's desk drawer? How dare you open the bedroom door? How dare you go down in the cellar or up in the attic into some dark place where we hide those things we don't want you to know? The act of making art exposes a society to itself. Art brings things to light. It illuminates us. It sheds light on our lingering darkness. It casts a beam into the heart of our own darkness and says, see. When people do not want to see something, they get mad at the ones who show them. They kill the messenger. If you've had an alcoholic in the family or a drug problem, that you get shamed for seeing them. Yeah. You're energetically shamed. They may not have to say any words. You're energetically shamed for being a mirror to them, being a bad father or a bad mother. And then you go off and misbehave because you don't know how to cope. And then you'll get blamed for their actions. Yeah, and what's it, a classic? What will the neighbours think? Well, but they'll be. It's a sense that the parents themselves will be exposed. Shamed for your looking and being curious, for saying something when it's the adults who have the problem and you've no understanding of what's happening. But we'll make a decision. Like, I'm not going to do that again. And we'll do this maybe even for, like, if we, let's say you do a piece of art and you're shamed for the art, and it's like maybe it could reveal something about your family. You might be young, you might be 5, and you might bring up your parents' sexual problems and without any conscious, and you just, whoa, and you're like, and you go, I'm never going to do that again. And you're not going to think that again, but that can stick with some people their whole life. They'll never do it again. They've made a promise. Promises are powerful. I remember being told never to trust anyone. There you go. And if you decide, I'm never going to trust anyone, it's there. And you won't. And you're acting from that promise. You're acting, because from 0 to 7 is a very powerful time. And you're unconsciously acting as an adult. And you have to notice that that's what you're doing. You're ashamed to show yourself. You're afraid. You're afraid of a parental voice. And then through this misunderstanding of how your mind works, you then blame God. God then takes on the parental role, who can never fulfill your ideas. Why does God make the world suffering? No. Basically, why does mum and dad not treat me right? And it just becomes God. And it's just to condemn ourselves. And it's a way to protect these root kind of senses of shame and suffering. We can't express ourselves. So when we are learning to express ourselves, which we're doing, you have to have the right people to share with, like we have a group here. It's like a protective group until you have enough power that you can show anything to anyone, and even if they criticize you, go, fair enough. You want to have that on all those levels that you can, whatever you're doing physically, it doesn't matter if people criticize, you can continue to do it. And if you're still getting money for it, then obviously it is good. And the same on your level of thinking. Yeah. You might have a society like we have right now telling you very strange things. You can't even say it on here because of, well, it might tell you very strange things, but your mind is capable of just going, doesn't matter how many people are saying it, I know that's not right. And the same with your emotional self, and that comes a lot harder. Someone's trying to guilt trip you and things like that. You just kind of emotionally know that it's not true. And then in your consciousness where no one can touch you. But again, that can take a long time to get the confidence that no, this is what the spiritual path, this is my spiritual self. And this takes a lot of nurturing. This is what we have, a lot of nurturing, knowing when to share, right? Do not share, I said, it's like so important. Do not share early creative projects with someone who's going to criticize. So I wrote down, like, what do you mean, like, false criticism? Where are we? Sorry, I'm all over the place. What am I? The criticism that damages is that which disparages, dismisses, ridicules, or condemns. It is frequently vicious but vague and difficult to refute. This is the criticism that damages. And it's like often, how could you? Positive criticism helps. Someone points out, you go, yeah, I could have done that. Yeah. And if you have had an overbearing thinking parent, you show like some piece of art or work to someone, it's like, well, you spelled that word wrong. That note's not right. Oh, you didn't get the start of the film right on the credits list. Like, it's just, it's put down. It's no productive kind of, it's nitpicking. Nitpicking at you all the time. You may find it when, on any kind of teaching or any kind of criticism for you with like a spiritual teacher. You didn't do that right. No, you're always angry. You didn't get that right. You don't always get that. Yeah. Without any positive kind of help at all. If you're doing work, you need to be, so just from my own experience of doing acting and drama, you need a lot of critique. That's what you do. A lot of it is just critiquing. Just going, that's not very good, you need to do that. But also, this is good. This is what you've been doing good. And someone says, that was rubbish. It's like, well, what does that mean? Well, I don't really like it. What does that mean? I don't like the way that makes me feel. It's like, what does that mean? If someone says, I don't like that, the way that make me feel, good. A lot of art's meant to make you feel challenged and not good. Nowadays, it's like an actual crime. It's an actual crime that someone doesn't feel good about what you've done. That's wild, right? You watch some movies from the 70s, it's just like, you don't feel good. You come out paranoid and like, what's going on? That's why they changed the movies in Hollywood in the 80s, always they had to have a happy ending. It's in the 70s, it's like that was art. It challenged you. So it's different than someone just saying things. There's no argument back. There's nothing you can, it's just negativity. You have to know your friends. You have to know who's going to say this to you. You have to know how to protect yourself. You have to know when you get criticism like that, how to go back to your affirmations. You have to no, I'm a good artist. I know how to work. You can look again at some positive criticism you received and just go, no, because these will affect us. They will affect the child in us and the sense of shame. And I think I've got some rules of the road when dealing with any form of criticism. 1, receive the criticism all the way through and get it over with. 2, jot down notes to yourself on what concepts or phrases bother you. 3, jot down notes on what concepts or phrases seem useful. 4, do something very nurturing for yourself. Read an old good review or recall a compliment. 5, remember that even if you have made a truly rotten piece of art, it may be a necessary stepping stone to your next work. Art matures spasmodically and requires ugly duckling growth stages. 6, look at the criticism again. Does it remind you of any criticism from your past, particularly shaming childhood criticism? According to yourself, that the current criticism is triggering grief over a long-standing wound. Acknowledge to yourself, that the current criticism is triggering grief over a long-standing wound. 7, write a letter to the critic, not to be mailed, most probably. Defend your work and acknowledge what was helpful, if anything, in the criticism proffered. 8, get back on the horse, make an immediate commitment to do something creative. 9, do it. Creativity is the only cure for criticism. And then there's a quote from Eugene Delacroix. Artists who seek perfection in everything are those who cannot attain it in anything. Nothing we do is going to be perfect anyway, right? And it's always going to upset someone. Probably said very famously, can't remember his name, the man who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Is it Richard Bach? It was a very big book, kind of spiritual allegory book, and he got lots of letters, and one of them was like, you're amazing, you've changed my life, you're just like absolutely amazing. And the other one he got was like, you're a fraud, this is nonsense, the classics, kind of absolute garbage, stealing stuff, all the rest of it. And the person who wrote, on both of them he wrote, you might be right, and he sent them to letters to each of the other person. And that's how we have to deal with the positive and the negative. And for us, you want to actually soak in a bit of the positive things. We're so hard on ourselves. It's like you want to there'll be someone else who feels the opposite. It's not for us to. Just as you have freedom to like what you like. It's like, for my favourite band, and listening to them like in interviews, and some of their work that they least like is some of my favourite stuff they've done. Same for a lot of artists, right? It's like, well, that's amazing, and they particularly like it themselves. And we've got that freedom, right? So other people have that freedom. It's not for us that's when criticism is just about your ego satisfaction, then it's not that good. But if it's about your creative self, then criticism is really helpful. So it's good to have people doing the work together who can critique you because you know that they've got some value in the words. But when you're starting out, just make sure it's just positive, nurturing, just like with your baby. So if you've got a baby, it's just nurturing all the time. That's what you need to nurture yourself all the time. It's not the time to go really kind of criticize. It's the time to try and get a sense of being able to be prolific, bring stuff out. So I think let's be good to just do a little exercise. If you've got a pen and paper or you want to write. This work is, you're all on the spiritual path as well, so it goes into all the levels of, we call being blocked, but being made to feel guilty for who you are. Yeah. And hiding our talents for fear of being hurt. So just allow yourself, to free associate for a sentence or so with each phrase. Okay, everyone's ready. So the first question is, and finish the sentence. My favourite childhood toy was... Two, my favourite childhood game was... Three, the best movie I ever saw as a kid was... 4, I don't do it much, but I enjoy... 5, if I could lighten up a little, I'd let myself... 6, if it weren't too late, I'd... 7, my favourite musical instrument is... 8, the amount of money I spend on treating myself to entertainment each month is... 9, if I weren't so stingy with my artist self, I'd buy him or her... 10. Taking time out for myself is 11. I am afraid that if I start dreaming, 12. I secretly enjoy watching 13. If I had had a perfect childhood, I'd have grown up to be 14. If it didn't sound so crazy, I'd write or make a 15. My parents think creative people are 16. My God thinks creative people are 17. What makes me feel weird about this recovery of my creative self is 18. Learning to trust myself is probably 19. My most cheer me up music is 20. My favorite way to dress is 'Okay, thank you. There's a quote here from Erica Jong that I like. Take your life in your own hands, and what happens? A terrible thing. No one to blame. So see, these exercises are just what they like keep tapping into, like a self that you had before it was crushed. And hopefully just remind you again that there's no one to blame. It's not, I think I got distracted, but trauma is just a natural way of living. The first time the greatest trauma, one of the greatest traumas we all experienced is when our mum left the room. So what are you going to do? Stick to your mum forever? That would be the most unhealthy thing possible. So we understand that trauma is essential for growth. And if you listen to, depends who you listen to. So if you listen to, oh, you know, trauma, that's bad, you have to look at, no, trauma is essential for growth. Things that we don't want to happen are essential for growth. We cry because our mums, we're totally traumatized. That's the first time we experience as a baby, we're alone. Our mums abandoned us, like utter like terror, apparently. Okay. And that's growth. That's first time you go to school. If you, I'm going to take them all. I'll sit in now. I don't know. Do they sit in with them in class now? Is that what's next? Because they don't want to experience any negative feeling. It's like so unhealthy. You know. So we're meant to experience these things. So there's no one to blame. That's the point. Whatever you do, don't blame your parents. You can recognize how they've affected you negatively, and they will have. And we understand that that is the natural part of life, is how to then, as an adult, to reevaluate, rechange, and redeal them. And transmute them. Does anybody here think you can go from a baby up to an adult with nothing wrong happening to you? Right. There's no one to blame. It's just part of the gig. So it's how do you deal with it? This is what we do. How do we deal with it? So you can recognize, we can recognize that my parent is a confused, helpless child themselves, trying to figure out what life is, filled with their own problems and negativities, and doing the best they can with what they have. And for many spiritual paths, you chose that family to learn this stuff. You don't blame them. They've got like swords in their hands and they don't know what they're just, what? Oh, you just cut me again. Stop turning. I can't stop turning. Right? It's very important. We're not looking to blame anyone. We're only concerned, if we're on the spiritual path, we're only concerned of what works, how to heal, how to move on. You know, how to change. So one of the things that we actually talked about last night, this is a big one, is do we really feel we're being guided by a creative force? Some people call it God, some people call it consciousness. We can intellectually understand, even in the level of physics, that everything is consciousness. Do we understand that we are being guided? And is it easier just to go, just if there's no God, then it doesn't really matter, and I don't really have to make an effort, right? It doesn't really matter. But if you understand you're co-creator of your world, then you're responsible for everything that's happening in your life. And can we handle that? Or is it easier just to develop a paradigm where it just seems to be random and nothing matters? But it's actually what we think and say reverberates right in our life. And the spiritual path is a growth of vibration, and the more you are loving yourself, the more your environment will reflect the love of yourself to you. And the more you hate yourself, the more things will happen that will just perpetuate this hatred of yourself. And there's no person up in the sky who does that. We do it. We have power. Now, are we afraid of that? Are we, you can look at this, are you terrified of success? Is failure easier to deal with? When you succeed, you'll have to reevaluate who you are if you've previously been a failure. Now, can you do that? Like, hopefully with the spiritual work, you can embrace that. If you have spiritual ideas that, like, oh, I shouldn't want this, or I should be humbled, then you kind of destroy it again, right? And that's an excuse of the mind taking these ideas to diminish yourself, that you're not seen, you don't matter, you don't count. This is not the spiritual teaching, right? You are joint heir with Christ. Is Christ seen? Ask yourself, was Christ happy to be seen? The being we call Yeshua. Seemed to be pretty happy to be. It's just like, I am my Father's son. It's like, you know, I mean, the big words, right? It's like people around him. Buddha happy? All Buddha did was walk about teaching, just gathering disciples. And we're like, no, I'm not to be seen. No one's to see me. That's what being spiritual is. That's not having an ego. No, that's a big ego. That's an ego. That's the negative ego that is craving for attention from God. Like, you're going to do something so negative. You're going to force God to prove that he is existing and that he's forgiving by being so bad, he'll come down and give you attention. By being, you're so naughty and so naughty with your parents, they keep giving you attention. And that's where you get, oh, I'm getting attention. And I don't know, look at this, is this truth for you? Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid to embrace it? These very important things. And is there a guiding force helping me? Because we're saying there is. We say God wants you to succeed. And so I've got some examples like of synchronicity. Hopefully you've got your own. I won't say answered prayers are scary. They imply responsibility. You ask for it. Now that you've got it, what are you going to do? Yeah, it's not comfortable. So, say a woman admits to a buried dream of acting. At dinner the next night, she sits beside a man who teaches beginning actors. A writer acknowledges a dream to go to film school. A single exploratory phone call puts him in touch with a professor who knows and admires his work and promises him that the last available slot is now his. A woman is thinking about going back to school and opens her mail to find a letter requesting her application from the very school she was thinking about going to. A woman wonders how to rent a rare film she has never seen. She finds it at a neighborhood bookstore 2 days later. A businessman who has secretly written for years vows to himself to ask a professional writer for a prognosis on his talent. The next night, over a pool table, he meets a writer who becomes his mentor and then collaborator on several successful books. And there's the quote, going even further than what we've heard. When a man takes one step toward God, God takes more steps toward that man than there are sands in the worlds of time. If we do in fact have to deal with a force beyond ourselves that involves itself in our lives, then we may have to move into action on those previously impossible dreams. Life is what we make of it, whether we conceive of an inner God force or an other outer God doesn't matter. Relying on that force does. There's a quote from Albert St. Georgi, I can't say his name. A discovery is said to be an accident meeting a prepared mind. Jesus says, ask and you shall receive, knock and it shall be opened unto you. When we answer that call, when we commit to it, we set in motion the principle that Jung dubbed synchronicity, loosely defined as a fortuitous intermeshing of events, we call serendipity. Whatever you choose to call it, once you begin your creative recovery, you may be startled to find it cropping up everywhere. Don't be surprised if you try to discount it. It can be a very threatening concept. Jung, following his own inner leadings, brought him to experience and describe a phenomenon that some of us prefer to ignore, the possibility of an intelligent and responsive universe acting and reacting in our interests. So, as a rule of thumb, never ask whether you can do something. Say instead that you are doing it. Then fasten your seatbelt. The most remarkable things follow. The universe falls in with worthy plans, and most especially with festive and expansive ones. So, just choose what you're going to do, and then follow it. Yeah, the how usually follows after we've decided. So if you ask an artist how he got where he is, he will not describe breaking in, but instead will talk of a series of lucky breaks. 1,000 unseen helping hands, Joseph Campbell calls these breaks. And we can rely on them. So, take a small step in the direction of a dream and watch the synchronous doors flying open. Seeing after all is believing. And if you see the results of your experiments, you will not need to believe me. Remember the maxim, leap and the net will appear. In his book, The Scottish Himalayan Expedition, W.H. Murray tells us his explorer's experience. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative or creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would otherwise never have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favour all manner of incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man would have believed would have come his way. Famous quote. Yeah. Does anybody have anything coming up? Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult area for me. What comes up is just a real resistance because it just feels like my creativity's been such a just burden at times. I have buried parts of it, especially around music, and I don't really know what my creativity is now. I don't, it's such a solidified idea. I don't know if that idea is actually it. Um, and then other things like, I suppose to me, I'd also count creativity as just this new love of reading novels, for example. That's one thing, but um, I don't know if the music thing is more to do with my idea. It's so muddied. I can't really make out what it is, and it feels easier just to ignore it. And the idea of like starting a song or something just feels like a massive hassle. It's easier right now just to not address it.
That's not true at all in any way, shape or form. If you weren't addressing it, you wouldn't be here. This is exactly what we're doing. We're addressing it. Right? It's literally what we're doing in this class, is addressing it and looking at it. So it's just like an idea of how you think it should manifest, right? So on the next point, really deeply connected to that, is take your time. Yeah, as you say, it's like you just said it. You've got clarity on the issue. It's muddled at the moment. You know what it is, but it's like it's muddled. So you know the arena in which we're going in. So it might take let's say it takes at least a year. Because you can just relax into. I'm going to have to try and. You can't figure it out like that. That's not the heart. It's like saying we're doing the morning pages. Very important. We're doing like these exercises. These exercises are subconsciously releasing things. Maybe related to your question that you asked yesterday. There will just come a time where you, I say, breakthrough. Has anybody had bad hearing due to wax in their ears? Yeah? What's it like when it comes out?
They're loud. It's
Right?
fun.
But it's like, oh my God, that's what hearing's like. Again, it's like I've been hearing, and it's like, oh my God. It's like unbelievable. I mean, when I did it, I thought it was like Spider-Man. It's like I could hear someone's coat. It's like, wow. The whole time we've just been living with something dampened down and not as good as it could be. And then it gets unblocked. It's like that. It's like, oh, what was I thinking? That's what will come up for a lot of people. I mean, beyond the spiritual work, you've got these ideas, and this block self is taking in all the ideas, all the spiritual ideas. When you actually have a breakthrough, it'll be like, it's nothing like you've been thinking. Right? No. Oh, God's like that. If you've been in a bad relationship and you come out of it, it's like, oh, what was I doing? You had these experiences before? Yeah, everyone, right? That's like a sense of what breakthrough. That doesn't come just like by thinking about it. So we're doing this work, and it's like you'll start to get a sense of there'll be something in there about your relationship, say, to music. So you're getting a sense of being creative, might be reading a novel, and it stimulates a certain creativity. And creativity is like an energy. It's like a sensibility. It's like a muscle on how we approach things, how we creatively cook. Yeah, and we get a sense of that, a sense of joyful participation with the world and in the small things, and we treat ourselves all the time in small things. Like, really, it's like learning to treat yourself again, like a kid. It's very important. To try not to judge the time. You with me? Yeah, let it breathe. And if you've had a lot of shame around what you were doing previously, then it's good to have a little break from the creativity in that arena and get a sense of creativity in general, and then come it back into that space. And you've told me lots of like words that go with music, right? There's just, I should be doing this, or this should be that, and there's lots of stuff there, right? And we've gone into where those words came from. So hopefully this work is enjoyable. It's important to you. Like, I don't want to do any more classes that we're committed, because it's like 1 o'clock now. I don't want to do any more formal classes, but I think I just might put up some exercises to keep doing over the weeks to keep the continuum. And you can, if you want to write to me or, share some stuff, that would be good. And we've got some exercises that you don't have time to do today. Similar to what we just did, like a lot of playful, like, you know, you said this playful, childlike, getting into the things. And one of the exercises would be, it's going to be like you write down 5 people you would like to meet, that you admire, and then 5 people you secretly admire. It's all things you wouldn't want people to kind of know that you like. And then meet 5 people or who you'd like who are dead that you admire, and then who you would really like to meet. It's like, in a way, it's getting to grips with your shadow side, right? You don't want to admit that I like, you know, Elton John, or you know, you know, don't go breaking my heart. Oh, yeah, it's like it's not cool to admit that you're like, right? Some things like that. Or if it might be, if you're a certain person, like you just don't want to admit you like heavy metal. Yeah, you secretly like Metallica, but you're like you're a handbag kind of dancer, right? And then it's like looking at the shoulds and tapping into your shoulds. You know, I should like Jesus because he's a moral, upright figure. Yeah, but I don't want to admit I like Conor McGregor. He's an absolute scumbag. But I do. And it's like looking at these qualities in ourselves, of what we admire. And then can we bring them into our life? Can we bring them into our friendships? Yeah, these are like archetypal images in our mind of who we think we should be, and what we would like to be, and how we want to be, and investigating and playing with it. Yeah, exercise like this. So I don't know how people feel about that, but there'll be no commitment to a class. I just put up like maybe like 15-minute videos like once a week, just some exercises, and just to keep it going, the continuum of these classes, because it's quite a break for these things. This is an ongoing thing, right? I think that would be helpful. So that's 102. If anyone has any kind of final urgent thoughts, then it's Saturday. Yeah, time to shalom, shalom, holy day, depending on your paradigm. Every day's a holy day, right? Hopefully. So hopefully that's helpful. And I'll put up the exercises as soon as I can, either tonight or tomorrow, for the week. Continue to have fun, to explore playfulness. Just get that playfulness. And you'll have times where you just think, what am I doing? What's the point? This is all nonsense. And then that's usually before a breakthrough. In my experience and with spiritual stuff, like really like, what am I doing? This negative stuff, is this garbage? It's usually right before a boom. So look out for those minds. Don't want, they're meant to be like that. It's part of how the mind kind of works through itself. It's big explosions of fear that will just be self-criticism, criticizing others. Okay? So please be very playful, and thank you so much for your work and your time, and enjoy rediscovering yourself, and go through those positive affirmations a lot. Please. Thank you.